So today I want to talk about podcasting, specifically listening to a podcast. I know before I started listening to them I was a little bit intimidated, and I thought it was a very techie thing and that it would all be very techie content. But actually it's at the very basic level just a free radio show you can listen to wherever you go. So I just want to talk you through how you can download, subscribe and listen to your favourite podcasts. So first things first, I use an app called Podcasts, which is Apple's podcasting app, and it's really easy to use because it connects to the Apple podcasting store as well, so you can subscribe to all your favourites. So I have the podcast app, which is the purple app here, on my iPad and my iPhone. I also, when I download the podcast, can transfer it to my iPod or just listen to it whilst on my laptop. So when I open the app, I come up with a list of all the podcasts I currently subscribe to. Obviously, if you're new to podcasting, listening to it, when you open it up, you won't have any podcasts in there at the moment. But as you can see, I listen to a wide variety, from podcasting to business to interviews, lots of different things. And there's so much variety out there that you can just find pretty much anything you would want to see. In the bottom left hand corner there's a button that says Store, so we're going to go click on that one and see what else we can find. So regular Apple users will probably recognise that the podcast store looks a lot like the App Store or the Music Store. So in the podcast store you've got a list of all of the different podcasts you can do, all the new and upcoming ones, the charts, every kind of podcast, and as I mentioned before, all podcasts are completely free. They also have video podcasts as well, so there's lots of different things that you can explore. As you can see from this clip, you have a drop down menu of all the different kinds of podcasts, from comedy to sport to science to tech. There's so many different things that you can have a look at. When I first started looking for podcasts and listening to them, I found the best place to try first is the charts to see what's really popular. Ricky Gervais usually dominates this, but a lot of the Radio 1 and Radio 4 programmes are quite highly popular as well. But I'd also recommend sort of asking around, asking on Twitter for recommendations, because there are a few that don't manage to get quite into the top 20 charts but are worth a listen. So once you've found a podcast you like the look of, all you have to do is click on it, and there is a subscribe button at the top. It'll also list a number of the previous podcasts that have been published. So all you need to do is hit that subscribe button, and it'll take you back to the app and show you in your library how many of the podcasts you have available to you. If you're a little bit on the fence about it, have a look at the review section of that podcast and it'll tell you what other people have thought about it. So here's an example of what it will look like once you've subscribed. So I recently subscribed to TED Talks because I really enjoy watching them on YouTube. So you can see on the right that there is a list of a couple of the recent ones. You can go add new ones as well by clicking the button underneath. And if I wanted to listen to one of them, all I would need to do is click on each podcast, each episode. Once you've clicked on an episode, it will take you to the podcast and start playing it for you. Here's an example of one I listened to this week in Google, and also you might notice on the bottom right hand side there is a blue AirPlay icon. I often play my podcast through Apple TV on in the lounge or the bedroom, just because the sound quality is a little bit better, but you can just play it through your iPhone or your iPad. Going back to the main part of the podcast app, you'll see on the left hand side that I have a number of playlists which they call my stations. So you can group together your podcasts into suitable categories. Say for example, if you like a lot of science ones and you want to listen to a batch of science but leave the comedy ones for the moment and come back to them in a different batch, you can do that, which I find is really useful. The most recent section is really handy for just seeing exactly what's just been published, so you can keep up to date. So I hope that was useful. I would love to know, once you've started listening to some podcasts, what podcasts you love and where you listen to podcasts. Just let me know in the comments below.